You know, we tend to think of myths as these timeless stories, right? Like they're carved in stone. But what happens when one culture's hero becomes another's villain? Today, we're diving into the incredible story of how a powerful god was transformed, falling into the darkest corners of folklore. Let's get started. So this is the big question for our explainer today, and it's not just about one old story, it's really about how culture, belief, and, power can completely reshape the identity of a deity. And to figure this out, we're going to follow the very strange case of the Germanic god Wotan. Okay, so, before this whole fall from grace, who exactly was Wotan? Well, in ancient Germanic paganism, he was a huge deal, the All-Father, a top-tier god who you might also know as Odin from Norse myths. And he wasn't some distant static figure in the clouds. He was seen as this dynamic force of wisdom, poetry, and really profound magic.
One of the key things you need to know about Wotan is that he was known as a restless wanderer. But here's the thing. He wasn't just roaming around with no purpose. His travels were a divine quest for knowledge, for understanding the deepest secrets of the universe. And back then, this was seen as an incredibly noble and powerful thing to do.
And all that questing? It gave him some seriously incredible power. Wotan was a master of magic, especially the runes. Now, these weren't just letters for writing. They were believed to hold immense cosmic power and wisdom. This command over hidden knowledge was a huge part of what made him a god, a celebrated strength that made him one of the true heavy hitters in the pantheon.
But then, things started to change. A new world began to dawn as Christianity spread across Germanic lands, and it brought a totally different way of seeing the world. This set the stage for a massive clash. Not a clash of armies with swords and shields, but a clash of stories, of myths.
Now, this transition wasn't some kind of overnight erasure. It was much more subtle, a gradual reinterpretation. See, the powerful stories of the old gods were just too deep in the culture to just disappear. So instead, they were repurposed. Their characters and their meanings were twisted to fit inside the new Christian worldview. Wotan was about to be recast in a brand new role.
And the way this happened is just fascinating. It was almost systematic. The very things that once made Wotan this revered, awesome god were cleverly reframed to look like evidence of something sinister. His greatest virtues were about to become his greatest sins.
And this is where it all becomes crystal clear. You see his noble quest for knowledge? That got spun into the aimless roaming of a dark spirit, something suspicious, untethered, and kinda creepy. And his incredible mastery of runes and wisdom, well, that became malevolent sorcery, a diabolical power that was seen as a direct threat to the new church. So you see what they did? They didn't deny his powers, they just poisoned them.
So, the result of all this rebranding was, well, direct and dramatic. The All-Father, the great seeker of wisdom, was slowly transformed in folklore into a devil-like figure. He became a tempter, a trickster, a wandering entity that brought misfortune, not enlightenment.
Believe it or not, there's actually a formal term for this whole process: demonization. It's a real historical and cultural phenomenon where the gods of an old religion get rebranded as the demons of a new one. And it was a really powerful tool for cultural conversion, right? It neutralized the influence of the old gods by making them seem dangerous.
But here's the thing. A god as powerful as Wotan doesn't just vanish completely. Even after being demonized, his presence was just too strong to be totally erased from people's minds. He survived, not as a god, but more like a ghost, a powerful echo in the folklore of the land.
And the most famous example of this is the incredible legend of the Wild Hunt. It's this ghostly procession that people believed would tear across the sky during winter storms. And guess who its fearsome leader is? Wotan. He's no longer the All-Father. In this story, he's a demonic huntsman, a terrifying specter. His divine presence is still there, you can feel it, but it's in this dark, twisted new form.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. Wotan's story isn't just about a myth. It's about the deep, overlapping layers of history, belief, and psychology that make up a culture's identity. His transformation really shows us how one era of belief is often built right on top of the foundations and, sometimes the ruins of the one that came before it.
So, all this leaves us with a final lingering thought. On a stormy night, when people long ago heard the wind howling and thought of the Wild Hunt, who were they really seeing ride the wind? Was it the last glimmer of a forgotten god, or the newly created face of a demon? Perhaps, deep in the soul of folklore, they're forever one and the same.